I just ran several tests. This better be working. Hey everyone, my name's LunArx. Welcome back to Glyph. I have played this entire B-side. It took me an hour 20 minutes recording. I was going to split it into 2 videos. I'm still going to do that, but I've played it before now because the same thing happened this time that happened before. It just didn't also mess up the audio, thank goodness. So yeah, it's been a few days. I was I was upset, but I also was like, what can I do anyway? So yeah, that's why there was no episode this last Sunday, and I did kind of a mini thing, just ramble playing Vanilla Celeste instead, just to quickly, you know, replace the void of LunArx content that everyone was upset about, clearly. So, I admit, and I am ashamed to admit, this was the one thing in this game that I didn't figure out on my own and I had to look up. The reason I looked it up, I could not figure out what in the world to do here. The reason I looked it up was I knew there was a possibility that whatever I had to do here had to do with some like some puzzle that I hadn't figured out, and once I figured it out elsewhere I would come back and stuff would work. Otherwise I would not have looked up what to do. Turns out, no, you just have to do that. And over here, I did see on the internet when looking up the other thing, this is something, this is like gold strawberry something, I don't know. Extra bonus berry something that I probably won't be getting, but it's there. Okay, see if I can remember these things, because again, been a few days, and yeah, it's interesting that that wall to the left appears, like there's a wall that appears here as soon as I leave this area. Alright, so I need to do diagonal dashes like this. I need to do a loop around. This one was kind of fun to figure out. I did almost the entire thing without looking through the look finder too, which I was so proud of. This is a very difficult jump. I had to spend a while trying to figure it out. Just the quick back and forth like that. I might make it look easier than it is, definitely than it would be for a first timer. I say that as I have not pulled it off yet. Okay, almost had it. These levels, this final void side B, I can't say it. No version of any recording can I say it. I think I messed it up on the intermission video as well. Void side B side. So it wasn't so much the butchered recording that caused me to hit such a big burnout after the previous episode where the audio was messed up. It was the audio part, and this doesn't have an issue with the audio so far as I can tell. It's the same glitch that made me, the same OBS glitch that made me have to re-record the video that ended up having bad audio. I think you might need to do a an extended hyper there. Otherwise, I don't get the reach that I need. So I've been playing, this is fun. I've been playing a spooky game where you wander around in the woods at night with a flashlight, picking up pages. Oh, I have to move up. While creepy supernatural creatures are after me. No, it's not Slender the 8 Pages. It's Alan Wake, which I've played before. I played when I was much younger, and I loved it, and I'm playing it again, the remaster, before playing the sequel, and it's still so good. I mentioned this on the intermission video already. I talked a little bit about this game. It's such an interesting concept to have a narrative-driven action horror game where you play as an author. And I've had a lot of writer and author friends before, and I have a lot of writer and author friends, and I used to be a writer myself. And that's such a fun character concept for a video game. Like, you see, it's not crazy for a TV show or a movie or even a book to star a writer, a best-selling novelist. But you don't see that in a video game very often. It's certainly not like a supernatural horror game. It's really cool. And the sequel came out after a decade and multiple pieces of supplemental material that have greatly expanded the world, including one of my favorite games of all time, Control. And I'm just so pumped to finally play the sequel. People say it's good. And I apologize if anyone if anyone watched my intermission video, which was basically a Let's Play episode without progressing in Glyph. I was just playing Vanilla Celeste, nabbed a couple gold strawberries I already had just as something to do in the background. I forgot what I was doing. I need to race it down, I forgot. So yeah, this is a bit of a retread for people who have watched that. If you've watched it, I don't know if anybody's watched it. I haven't checked. Nobody's left any comments, which is fine. You don't... I've said a couple times, comment this, comment that. I had a pretty funny bit about that in the episode I had to scrap and am now re-recording. Anyway, you don't have to comment. It does... it helps out the algorithm, and it makes me feel better. But don't feel obligated to. This is a personal hobby that... Oh, so close. This is a personal hobby that I'm doing just for my own sake, for fun. I don't expect anything to come of it. But interaction is nice. Not to get all parasocial. Which I've never actually been on this side of the whole parasocial thing. I have interacted with streamers and creators that I enjoy before, and that's been cool. But it's important to remember that they're not my friends. You're not their friends. There is a relationship here of a creator and a viewer. Although that's not gonna keep me from crushing on some people. But I keep them to myself because I'm a rational person and I'm not weird. If you crush on a streamer, unless they're the kind of streamer who like flirts with their audience and is like that's the whole theme of it, then you can tell those streamers that you crush on them. But in general, just don't tell. Just in a... Read the room. Know the right place to talk about these sorts of things, because they're people too, and... yeah. However, if you want to tell me that you have a crush on me, I will be flattered and flabbergasted and chastise you for being parasocial. Oh, I had it the one time, and I really need to just hold down. Which is so difficult with the diagonals. Whew, a wonderful room. Oh, I forget what I have to do. Yeah. Ah. This final set of levels for this B-side are crazy. I wish the recordings worked for experiencing these for the first time. The amount of times I was just utterly bewildered at the level design. It's like that someone would make this. Ah, so close. I'm actually, in general, not a horror person. That's changed a bit as I've gotten older, but there are also some things that are prevalent in a lot of horror that are genuinely triggering to me. Not as much as they used to when I was a child, but oh, check it. First checkpoint. This took me a while. Right, I need to wall bounce off of it in order to get the height. Again, I wish I had... Ow. I wish I had the recording of me doing this for the first time and getting to figure this out. Not having to figure this out, getting to figure this out. Whew. So, when I was younger, I hated horror, I would say. Now, I like some horror or things with horror elements and whatnot. But I hated horror so much that I would tell people that Alan Wake was not a horror game. It was a story game, an action game, where you are playing through a horror story. Because the plot involves the main character loses a week of his life. I remember I don't have to do any kind of wall bounce or anything after that. But he doesn't remember, there we go, anything about his life. Anything about his life. I'm distracted by the video game in front of me. He has amnesia over what happened for an entire week, during which he apparently wrote a manuscript filled with pages that he doesn't remember writing, but that are slowly coming true, or coming true exactly as they are written on the page. And the story that he wrote during the time he doesn't remember is a horror story. Replaying this game as an adult, I can tell you for absolute certain the only reason I refused to say Alan Wake was a horror story was because I liked it. Like, it's filled with so many horror, I can't think of the word, but like aspects of horror and tropes and the atmosphere and jump scares, but not like sucky jump scares, just like when things come at you in the dark and you don't know that they're there first. It's kind of scary. Yeah. At the time, I associated horror with over-the-top gore and things like that, which are all aspects of horror that I very much do not like, personally. As almost like embarrassing it feels like to admit, I was traumatized by B-movie fake gore as a kid. Like, gore in any capacity, like, really messed me up. I'm still not a big fan of it, but I can handle it a lot better than I used to be able to. So, aspects in horror, like super gory death and super messed up body horror, and another thing is the downer ending. It can be so frustrating. I don't know how I salvaged that. I don't like the downer ending most of the time. By downer ending trope, I mean the ending of a story where hope is lost, everyone dies, the evil wins. You know, it can be done in a way that's really good, but a lot of the time it just makes me really upset, and I feel like my time is wasted. So that's another part of horror that That's insane that I almost beat that my first try after the initial amount of time it took me. So basically, there are major components of horror that I really don't like, and that I, for a very long time, used as what I considered all of horror to be. So when something that's spooky but tells a good story that I like and doesn't have those elements, when that happens, when I was younger, I would be like, that's not actually horror though, because, I mean, I can say it now confidently because I liked it. It's another thing, a tabletop RPG show called Kolok 1991, which I watched as an adult. It took me a long time to admit that the story was horror, because, again, so many elements of what I consider, of what I have associated with horror, weren't in it, the elements that I didn't like. So, yeah. And that is also why, like, I cannot stand Mortal Kombat for the same reason why I used to hate horror. It's not actually inherently that it's scary or anything like that. It's gore, and it's some of the aspects that are, you know, designed to horrify you, but I don't have the barriers that a lot of people do. A lot of people are numb to those kinds of stories and started out being more numb to them than I am. People love watching gore-fest films and stuff like that, and it's not for me. I've learned to be accepting of that it's okay for people to like that stuff, just as it's okay that I don't. Anyway, so yeah. Oh, come on. Come on. Come on. I don't remember if it was this room or a room previous where I said that these diagonal blocks that you have to wave dash off of, I wasn't a huge fan of because I was so bad at getting the right momentum off of them. And then, like, I was saying, I hope this is like the last of them, like the last that they're used. And then they came back a lot more. So, grip my well wishes, but these levels are hella fun, so. How did that turn horizontal? That's really frustrating. The direction is not what I feel like I'm holding. Here we go. Whew. Now we're to the winter part. I was thinking it was before, but I'm learning now it was now. Each one of these checkpoints transitions to a different season of Void. I think that is pretty cool. In this episode, we will go until we get through the 4 seasons, because there is more content after that. I think that is kind of a natural breaking point. I think it's over halfway through the level, but it's what I'm aiming for. And if the next episode is short, then it'll be short. Be easy to edit. I forgot how to... This one took time to figure out and is fun. Such riveting commentary. That happened a lot more than that the first time through. Hold on, and then wall bounce. Alright, and this one I have to time as well. I lost track of how many dashes I had there, I think. Did I need to go over to the right? Look at this mess before you. It is so cohesive, makes so much sense, yet it makes absolutely no sense and is a cluttered mess. That is the genius of insert developer here. I've heard his name several times, or their name, I do not know. Okay. Ah! I went too early. Here we go. This one. This one. This one is crazy. Well. Okay. I had to figure this out. And you don't have to, you don't have the privilege of seeing me figuring the whole thing out, but you do have the privilege of me struggling through it again, trying to remember the exact pattern. Because it's a lot to deal with. So, other than it... Excuse me? Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Ah! 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 I don't remember what I was saying. Oh my goodness. Other than something... Oh, that was a very short room. Maybe it was to introduce a mechanic. I don't know what the mechanic was, though, because it just seemed like all the other rooms to me. Okay, then I dash down, then dash up wall bounce. Look at this mess of a level. I love it. I forgot how that went. Alright, final sector for this video. How does it work again? There, I have to go left. I figured that out pretty quickly. I don't think this one's too bad, but it's a fun concept. Okay, that has me go diagonal, but where from there? Where there? Oh, it's like, it was a pink bubble. Got it. Okay, I need to retain my dash. I wonder what the thing was that I started to say before. Because I genuinely have no clue. Okay. Oh. If I remember correctly, you can just kind of ride those springs for a bit, and I messed it up. Oh my. This is just gonna be making me making these noises. Okay, this took me a while to figure out. I'm gonna say that about everything, because everything took me a while to figure out. You need to make that go down first, and then you do the wave dash. You have to use both dashes to avoid hitting the square, so that you can go over it. And then do the thing twice in a row there. And not do that. Child's play, except not at all. Way to go, any children who can do that. I know they're out there. I've met some of them. They're not children anymore, but I know people who could do that when they were children. And good for you, because that's not child's play. I should say could have done that when they were children. Unless I did say that, and now I'm just clarifying nothing. Look at this madness. Not to be a broken record. That's something that's happened late in this Let's Play, is I feel like I've become a broken record a lot. But... No! Okay. Well, I know this took so many more tries before, which is another thing that I've kept saying. I promise I have original thoughts, just maybe not when I'm playing levels I've done before. Oh, that was... I thought I was holding it. My goodness. That's just mean. I don't think I messed up there last time. I did mess up right after there, where you feel like you can't mess up. Have you been playing any good games recently? Comment below if you feel like it. I'm more interested in indie games, but if you've been playing Baldur's Gate 3, been playing Starfield, been playing Final Fantasy 14, whatever, let me know. Because that's genuinely interesting to me. I'm always interested in what people are playing, especially if it's indie games. but not always. And I'm a huge D&D fan, so I'm excited for if I ever get a chance to play Baldur's Gate 3. It's not exactly in my budget right now, but you know, Christmas is right around the corner as of the recording of this video. Ironically, my entire Christmas list is AAA video games I feel like I can't afford. It's just 5 games. I'm like, I want to play all of these, but I can't afford any of them. Or, well, I can afford one of them, which I would buy one of them after Christmas if I don't get it. And that's Alan Wake 2. And of course that's followed by, or you could get me a Lego set, or you could get me a CD, or you could get me nothing. Because this is just for my family. Outside of my family, I wouldn't feel comfortable asking for gifts that are so expensive as AAA video games. But also, I make this list for my family with no expectation of getting anything, because we're not a wealthy household by any stretch. I did mess up there once before. Okay, and here we are at the end. So, yeah, this is the end of the B-side, so I'm just gonna go collect the heart. Yeah, there's a part 2. I love that you can take the bubble up instead of down. And then there's this pretty little glyph thing that you can find there. Anyway, that's all for today, folks. I hope you had a wonderful week. I hope you're doing great. I hope this video recorded properly. Have a great night, day, whenever, everyone. Goodbye.